80 years ago, we were witness to not one, not two, but three railway engines. And to celebrate the occasion, I wanted to watch the 2015 special, The Adventure Begins. And I brought Thade along with me to watch it. Basically, the gist of this is that this is a 40-minute special made to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the series back in 2015. And it's a retelling of the first two books and the first 7 episodes of the TV series. So let's get into it. I do have some problems with it. Like, mainly two. Henry and Thomas. But you know what? I'm not even going to talk about them, because everyone else has already just talked about how their characters were kind of messed up for this movie and for the Brenner era. So we're just going to move that aside. We're just going to talk about the good shit. Arc Productions continues to knock it out with the animation. Just like, take a look at any screenshot from seasons 17 and 18 and just compare it to this. Like, they have gotten so good. Like, they gave the show a real glow up. Like, they continue to knock it out of the park with their detailing, their lighting, the character expressions. They're just wizards. I also really love how some of the characters are written, like Edward, Gordon, and James. Like, they were some of the only ones that weren't really messed up in this movie. Now, as for the stories themselves, they're, like, pretty good. I'd say Thomas and Gordon, Edward helps out, Thomas and the trucks, and the Henry flashbacks, those were handled pretty well. What I do think one of the changes that I think that improved this compared to the other two was Thomas trying to save James in the end. Like, that is my favorite scene of the whole movie. Like, it is just so perfect. And, like, it's much better than Thomas just sitting in the yard just seeing James go by. Like, this was such a welcome change. Robert Hartshort also does such a great job with the score, bringing back old familiar themes and just knocking out of the park with the two songs Really Useful Engine and Troublesome Chucks. Now, I'll always prefer the Magic Railroad Really Useful Engine, but he does a really good job with this version. You know, I don't know what else to say. I think The Adventure Begins is a really, really good celebration of Thomas. Like, I'm just really happy he exists. It may not hit all the notes, but I still had a really good time watching it. But now it's time for the most interesting part. Let's see what Thade has to say about the special.
Yes, sir. So, Thomas and Friends, The Adventure Begins. I thought for the CGI era of Thomas, this actually was a pretty good movie. It was pretty cool to see the origin of Thomas, kind of like how he got on the island of Sodor, kind of like how you can see all of his friends were developed early on. Like, I thought it was really cool that James was black and red before he just got like his full red coat of paint. And you can see when Thomas got painted and stuff. I thought that aspect of it was really cool. And for like the CGI era of Thomas, I thought this was actually a really good episode. But this episode came out during the 70th anniversary of Thomas, and me and Luke watched on the 80th anniversary. And even like in hindsight, I still think it was pretty solid. But comparing it to the original episodes that it was based on, there were some issues that kind of like changed. Really, one of the major ones is that even while the CGI was actually pretty good in Thomas and Friends, The Adventure Begins, you really can't beat the physical model series. Back in the 80s, the models just looked a lot better. The sets that they were on, like the lighting was better. The sky just looked like way more vibrant in the past. And also, too, the actual engines and stuff I thought looked a lot better in the original series. This new CGI though, one for what I've saw and what I've remembered whenever I like watched it in the past, still wasn't bad, but it doesn't really stand up as good as the OG. I think. Additionally, too, the voiceover where we had like the narration. The narration in the new one wasn't that bad, but I do think Ringo Starr's narration was a lot better back in the OG days and like the physical model days with just Thomas the Tank Engine in the 80s. But I thought also too there was some story inconsistencies, like the part in Thomas and Friends: The Adventure Begins, where it kind of shows the sad story of Henry. And the original one, it was because Henry was just, or I mean, yeah, Henry was just really cocky, so he didn't want to like go out in the rain. Like in the new one, they make him seem a lot more timid and scared, and it doesn't really make sense why he gets like punished as bad as he does in the new one. Like in just Thomas the Tank Engine, the original episode, it makes sense that he gets walled off and punished because he's just being really cocky. It doesn't really make sense in the new one that he's being punished that bad. Remember, he's just kind of scared. But overall, though, it's not bad. I would give it an 8 out of 10 because considering that it was during like the CGI era of Thomas where a lot of the quality, in my opinion, went down from like the Railway series whenever they had the physical models. I thought it was still very good. It was a good homage to Thomas for the 70th anniversary, and it was fun to watch it with Luke. I don't really watch Thomas as much, so it was kind of like I could kind of provide a fresh take on the situation, but I still thought it was pretty good. And after watching some of the original series, there were some inconsistencies and stuff. Overall, though, Thomas and Friends: The Adventure Begins still is a pretty solid movie, so it's worth giving it a watch sometime. But that's all the opinions for me. Signing out.